بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بالحسين عليه السلام. We give our condolences to the Imam of our time on the tragedy of Karbala. First, I'd like to request all of you to recite a Surah Fatiha for the marhumeen of the family who's sponsoring the program tonight, providing tabarruk. Marhumeen whose names are on this Fatiha wall here, and all your marhumeens. Please recite a Surah Fatiha with the Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, we'll start the program with Quran recitation, followed by poetry, and inshallah, we'll have Sheikh Hussain Walji with us for the speech, and then we'll end the program with Lutmiya. With that, I'd like to request Brother Abu Haidar to start the program with the Quran recitation with the Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
I want to remind myself first, and remind my brother and sister, tonight is the night of Friday, night of Jumu'ah. All our deceased relatives, they are waiting for us. I mean, from Friday to Friday, at least we remember them in Surah Fatiha. So remember your deceased, your parents specifically. Even the story, they are saying they are waiting on the door of their kids, waiting for some reward like Quran reading or Fatiha and so on, and dua. So remember your deceased, and specifically your parents who died. And also remember the reward of Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, which is free, one of the rahmah, blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, starting from the Maghrib time all the way to Saturday. So if you can make as much as you can salawat on our Prophet to benefit yourself specifically. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط وأنزلنا الحديد فيه بأس شديد ومنافع للناس وليعلم الله من ينصره ورسله بالغيب إن الله قوي عزيز. ولقد أرسلنا نوحا وإبراهيم وجعلنا في ذريتهما النبوة والكتاب فمنهم مهتد وكثير منهم فاسقون. ثم قفينا على آثارهم برسلنا وقفينا بعيسى ابن مريم وآتيناه الإنجيل وجعلنا في قلوب الذين اتبعوه رأفة ورحمة ورهبانية ابتدعوها ما كتبناها عليهم إلا ابتغاء رضوان الله فما رعوها حق رعايتها فآتينا الذين آمنوا منهم أجرهم وكثير منهم فاسقون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وآمنوا برسوله يؤتكم كفلين من رحمته ويجعل لكم نورا تمشون به ويغفر لكم والله غفور رحيم. لئلا يعلم أهل الكتاب ألا يقدرون على شيء من فضل الله وأن الفضل بيد الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. So when you move the laptop, there is no delay. Huh? When you move the laptop, there is absolutely no delay. The second you move it, and now there's delay. So only turn on the volume here? No, not on this, on the microphone.
محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فارغی کا نعرہ صحابہ.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اگر کوئی بازو بننا چاہے تو وہ آ سکتا ہے. اس خانے میں بازو بننے کے اتنے ہی میں ثواب ہے جتنا مجھے پڑھنے کا ہے. پورا سن ہنس لگا عشق نکلے جو غم شاہ میں پانی کی طرح اشک نکلے جو غم شاہ میں پانی کی طرح فکر بہنے لگی
دریا کی روانی کی طرح فرش شبیر سے کردار بنا کر اٹھو فرش شبیر سے کردار بنا کر اٹھو ذکر شبیر نہ دوہراؤ کہانی کی طرح اشک نکلے جو درود پڑھیں گے محمد والے محمد جزاک اللہ کی صحت و سلامتی کے لیے آواز بلند آ رہی صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد جہاں میں صبح ہو مسایا حسین ہوتا ہے جہاں میں صبح ہو مسایا حسین ہوتا ہے خدا کی طرح ہر ایک جا حسین ہوتا ہے جہاں میں صبح ہو مسایا حسین ہوتا ہے میں حر کو پڑھتا گیا اور یہ سمجھتا گیا میں حر کو پڑھتا گیا اور یہ سمجھتا گیا خدا بھی اس کا ہے جس کا حسین ہوتا ہے جہاں میں صبح ہو مسایا حسین ہوتا ہے میں ذوالجناح کا لیتا ہوں جس گھڑی بوسا میں ذوالجناح کا لیتا ہوں جس گھڑی بوسا میری نگاہ میں میرا حسین ہوتا ہے وہ جس کی لاہ سے بچے لا الہ الا اللہ وہ جس کی لاہ سے بچے لا الہ الا اللہ میرے عقیدے میں ایسا حسین ہوتا ہے. درود پڑھیے محمد آل محمد. جہاں میں صبح ہو مسایا حسین ہوتا ہے. یہ شعر یہ آپ لوگوں کی پیش نظر کر رہا ہوں. ہزار سجدے کرے کوئی اپنی کوشش سے, ہزار سجدے کرے کوئی اپنی کوشش سے, حسین بن نہیں سکتا حسین ہوتا ہے. کوئی تو بات بتائے یہ جا کے موسیٰ کو, کوئی تو بات بتائے یہ جا کے موسیٰ کو, خدا کو دیکھنے والا حسین ہوتا ہے. جہاں میں صبح ہو مسایا حسین ہوتا ہے. محمد آل محمد. جبین خلد بری پر لکھا ہے یہ مصرع, جبین خلد بری پر لکھا ہے یہ مصرع, علی ہو باپ تو بیٹا حسین ہوتا ہے. جہاں میں صبح ہو مسایا حسین ہوتا ہے. بہن کو شکریہ کہنے وسیم شام قسم, بہن کو شکریہ کہنے وسیم شام قسم, ہر ایک شام روانہ حسین ہوتا ہے. جہاں میں صبح ہو مسایا حسین ہوتا ہے. درود پڑھیے محمد آل محمد. روشنی اندر آئی تو I can see سارے دیگر نعرے صلوات. فاتحہ. جس دم سنی امام امم نے صدائے جس دم سنی امام امم نے صدائے حر سینے پہ ہاتھ مار کے چلائے، آئے حر رو کر کہا رفیقوں سے دیکھی، وفائے حر عرش عزا حرم میں بچھائی، برائے حر کینچی جو شان آہا، دل بے قرار سے نکلی تڑپ کے فاطمہ زہرا مزار سے، دوڑے دھر سے رن کی طرف سید امم، آئے نجف سے حیدر صفدر، بچشم نم آواز دی نبی نے کہ حر کو لیے ہیں ہم، جس وقت پہنچے شاہ تو وہ توڑتا تھا دم، سر کاٹنے کی فکر میں جو تھے وہ گئے، مہمان سے اپنے دوڑ کے حضرات لپٹ گئے، زانوں پہ رکھ لیا سرے حر اور یہ کہا، بھائی حسین آیا ہے آہوش میں ذرا، آنکھیں قدم پہ مل کے یہ بولا وہ باوفا، مولا ہزار جان سے میں آپ پر فدا، جن کے لیے زمین پر ملک سر جھکاتے ہیں، وہ لوگ خود سے میرے لیے لینے کو آتے ہیں، زانوں پہ سر ہے آپ کا یا شاہ بحر و بر، محبوب کبریا ہیں ادھر شیر حق ادھر، ہے کون یہ معظمہ پہلو میں نوحہ گر، شہ نے کہا کہ روتی ہیں اماں برہنہ سر، تو حشر تک امام دو عالم کے ساتھ ہے، ماتم تیرا حسین کے ماتم کے ساتھ ہے، یہ سن کے غیر ہو گیا اس دم جری کا حال، زانو پہ شاہدی پا کیا حر نے انتقال، خیمے کے در پہ لاش کو لایا علی کا لال، سب بیویوں نے کھول دیے آپ نے سر کے بال، زینب یوں روئی شہ کے فدائی کے واسطے، جیسے بہن تڑپتی ہے بھائی کے واسطے، جس دم سنی ماں میں۔ مولا کو غم نہ دے آپ لوگوں کو، سوائے غم حسین کی، صلی اللہ محمد وآل محمد، اور تمام مومنین مومنات جو یہاں پہ ہیں ان سب کی صحت و سلامتی، مجتہدین، مراجع اور منتظمین اور مومنین جو دنیا بھر میں اس فرش اعضا پہ شامل ہیں، ان سب کی صحت و سلامتی کے لیے، عزت و آبرو کے لیے بآواز بلند نعرہ صلوات۔
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔
Inshallah, we'll continue our program. Just a short announcement. There's a vehicle parked here in our driveway right close to the garage. It's a Toyota Sienna van, I believe. The interior light is on, so we don't want to run out of battery. So if it is your vehicle, you can go and turn out the interior lights. It's a Toyota vehicle right in front of the garage. It's just the interior light is on. We'll continue our program now. We'd like to, honored to have Sheikh Hussain Walji with us from Minnesota. Inshallah, we'll continue the program with his speech, enlightening speech. So now I'd like to request Maulana to start the program with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔ اے کربلا حسین کے غم کو نہ بھلانا، اے کربلا حسین کے غم کو نہ بھلانا، ورنہ تجھے بھی سارا بھلا دے گا زمانہ، اے کربلا حسین کے غم کو نہ بھلانا۔ ان ریت کے اڑتے ہوئے ذرات سے کہنا، اصغر کی یہی قبر ہے، اصغر کی یہی قبر ہے، اس کو نہ مٹانا، اے کربلا حسین کے غم کو نہ بھلانا۔ خیمے سے ننگے پاؤں چلی کس طرح زینب، یہ بات علمدار کو، یہ بات علمدار کو ہرگز نہ بتانا، اے کربلا حسین کے غم کو نہ بھلانا۔ تجھ کو کیا ہے کرب و بلا کس نے معلا، یہ خون ہے رسول کا، یہ خون ہے رسول کا، اس کو نہ چھپانا، اے کربلا حسین کے غم کو نہ بھلانا۔ بالوں سے رخ چھپائے ہوئے جاتی ہے زینب، اے تیز ہوا ان کو نہ ऐ तेज हवा इनको न चेहरे से हटाना, ऐ करबला हुसैन के गम को न भुलाना। बर मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद सलवात। अल्लाहुम्मा सल्लि अला محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله وبالله وصلى الله على محمد وآله وفوض أمري إلى الله. إن الله بصير بالعباد. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. روحي وجسمي وارواح العالمين لك الفداء يا ابن رسول الله. ثم السلام عليكم يا أهل العزاء الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. عليكم السلام. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبا الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين وكاسم بن الحسن ومسلم بن يقيل وهاني بن عروة وحبيب بن مظاهر والحر الشهيد الرياهي. السلام عليكم يا ساداتي وموالي جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. عليكم السلام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا هديناه السبيل إما شاكرا وإما كفورا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد. Tonight we are commemorating the shahadat of Hazrat Hur ibn Yazid Riha'i. He is a great lesson for us, and there are many examples in Karbala with all the different personalities that we had, from the youngest to the oldest. Habib ibn Madahir, Muslim ibn Awsaja, Abdullah ibn Hassan, a lot of these martyrs that gave their life were a very good example for us. And we can learn so many things from them and try and understand and implement those things in our lives. Hur really is a hope for us, because I know I'm sinful, and we all commit sins here and there. But we know one thing, is that when we will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the forgiveness through the wasila of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, He will forgive us. We have to have that hope alive in us. The Holy Prophet had said that if there was no hope instilled in us, he said, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have not given hope to us, he said, my ummah, or in my nation, the mothers would not have had breastfed their children, nor would have had a cultivator cultivate a land. So it is important for us to have that hope. And therefore, Hur is a great hope for us, because we know we have committed sins, but we also know that our love for Ahlul Bayt will save us when the time will come. We know one thing is that forgiveness to err is human, to forgive is divine. And it is important for us to understand that sometimes there are sins we may have committed. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah prevent us from those kinds of sins. But there are times when sins are committed and they stick to our ruh. They stick to our ruh. Day after day, months after months, years after years, we go through major nights, we do amals, but there is that stickiness that is in our heart that I don't know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ever forgive me for that. It happens to many people. And sometimes even I get a call from some people and will say, Maulana, I don't know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ever forgive me for what I have done. When you look at the Christian world, in the Christian world, we find that Jesus died for all the sins. So the non-Muslims will say that look at these Christians, they are so forgiving. Their Lord is so forgiving that they have forgiven all the sins. But look at Muslims. When you look at Muslims, the Muslims are struggling because if they commit a sin, they will go to hell. This is not true. Remember, this is not a true statement. Every sinner in Islam has a door for forgiveness. Every sinner has that. The love of a mother is 70 times, when you look at the love of a mother, it's a powerful love that she portrays for her children. Very powerful. And you look at a mother, and a mother is very forgiving. She will always sit and she will always pray for the forgiveness of her children's sins. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that my mercy, my forgiveness to my creation is 70 times more than a mother's love for her children. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, we should always have hope that when we come to such occasions and we raise our hands, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely give us forgiveness. And then we can move on in our lives. The fact that you remember that sin itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, that is the moment to say, Ya Allah, forgive me. Forgive me for what I have done. In the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that, O Muhammad, tell them never to despair the mercy of Allah, for Allah forgives every single sin. But we have to make the efforts to seek that forgiveness. We ask, is there any way to be forgiven for something we've done? Now look at Hur as an example. Hur was the one who stopped Imam alayhi salam. He had 1,000 armed forces with him. He had stopped Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, and he had diverted Imam. When he asked Imam, where are you going? He said, to Kufa, and he said, no, the instructions I have is to take you towards Karbala. And Imam Hussain tells him at that time that if you do not allow me to go to Kufa, then let me return back. Let me return back to where I came from. And he said, no, you have to go to Karbala. Now imagine that kind of, and if, of course, Hur had done this unknowingly, not knowing what the intentions were on the other side. But imagine if somebody did anything to us like that. If somebody directed me to a place or to a thing where it would have been detrimental for me and my family members, would I be really a forgiving person? Would I really, if that individual came to me, would I be someone that would be forgiving? But this was the mercy of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, showing us that how much merciful he is, how forgiving he is. And his forgiveness, he said, my forgiveness is the forgiveness of the Holy Prophet. When I forgive, my mother forgives. When I forgive, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives. So we should always have hope. And Hur is such a beautiful example for us that, as I said, he is our hope. We face every day, we face truth and falsehood. We face that. We face halal and haram all the time. But the decisions that we make, sometimes we may go towards haram, but that realization that what I have done is haram and I should have not done it. And that is when you turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seek forgiveness, for he is so merciful and he will forgive you if your intention is never to do that again. You see, that is important. I cannot go on committing a sin and next day I seek forgiveness and the third day I go and ask for forgiveness. We are asking forgiveness. If you are praying namaz, salat, if you are praying, you are in your salat asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh. You're always asking forgiveness for yourself, forgiveness for your parents, forgiveness for your community. That in itself is a mercy upon the mankind from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that in our daily lives, He has established a process through which unknowingly when we are committing a sin, He is there to forgive us. He's there to forgive us. Therefore, we should always try to do that. And you look at Hur. Hur did not just change himself. He changed his son as well. His decisions helped his son. And their decision helped the servant, the ghulam that they had. All three of them. Not only that, but history says that nearly 28 people from his troop and or tribe decided that they would not participate in the killing of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. So he was a catalyst of that. And for that reason, our fourth Imam, Imam Ali Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, he said, how beautiful Hur was and how patient he was. That in the middle of the battle, as he moves over to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein's camp, his patience and the way he gave up everything that he had, everything that he had. In history, there are those that were given this opportunity but did not take advantage of it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Holy Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Inna hadaynahu as-sabil imma shakiran wa imma kafur. He said, we have guided the man on the right path. Either they be grateful or be ungrateful. Allah never misguides anybody. Therefore, it is important that we realize the mistakes that we make, and we should be able to seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the light of hope is always there. Hur was from Kufa. And just imagine that Imam Hussain had to tell the people, that, O people of Abu Sufyan, if you don't believe in a religion, then at least be a free human being. Why are you just tempted to work for Yazid or Umar ibn Sa'ad and these people? Hur was from Kufa. He was a strong person. And he was a good buddy in today's language. He was a good friend of Umar ibn Sa'ad. Hur's son Bukhair and Umar's son Hafs. And who was Umar ibn Sa'ad? Umar ibn Sa'ad was the son of Sa'ad ibn Waqas, who followed the Holy Prophet. But his own son, look at what was transpiring in his head. It is the tama of the materialistic aspect of life. Rather than be concerned with your spiritual aspect, He was concerned about his physical aspect and what he can enjoy out there. They were good friends, and their children were very good friends. And they were very highly respected by the Kufians. And Umar's father was the founder of the city of Kufa, who had many things in favor of him. And I want you to evaluate your own self in this process as we talk about Hur, and then you talk about ourselves and our own commitment. Hur says, Hur was a person that was so well respected and he had fame. Today's child would say he was cool. He had fame. And not only did he had fame, but Muhajir, one of the persons, had told him in Karbala, he said, Hur, you are the strongest person in Kufa. And thirdly, he was given, the world was placed in his hand in a golden plate. Let me put it that way. He was promised the governorship of Khorasan. And when you look at Umar, he was promised the governorship of Ray, which is today Tehran. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam made every effort to guide these people, to guide them. He guided Umar ibn Sa'ad the night before the day of Ashur to put him on the right track, but he refused. Hur, on the other hand, was a different person. He had a soft heart. And when we look at it, we find that what changed Hur to become what he became. The meaning of Hur itself is free, somebody who is free. And the mother gave him a beautiful name. And one of the things he found was the humbleness of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. When Imam Hussain alayhi salam left Mecca and came to the third station of where they decided to spend a day, Imam Hussain alayhi salam tells Hazrat Abu Fazl al-Abbas that, oh Abbas, I think we should increase the amount of water that we are taking with us. So try to get some more containers of water loaded on the camels as we move. And Hazrat Abbas said, but Aqa, we are very close to Kufa. I said, I do want you to get us some more water. Get some more containers. It's important. And so Abbas did that. And as they came close to Kufa, they saw the army of Hazrat Hur, and look at the humbleness of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. He says to Abbas that, Abbas, look at those horses, and look at the people on those horses. They are desperate for water. Have all the youngsters, have everybody get together and try and feed them. And Hur is watching this scenario. And at the same time, there was a soldier who was at the end of these troops of 1,000. He was even in the worst of shape. And Abu Abdullah al-Hussein brings him near, goes near him, feeds water to his horse, and he feeds water to the man, the soldier. What changed him? What changed him was the akhlaq of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. He came to know right away that this was not an ordinary person. He knew that he was the son of Janabi Fatimatul Zahra Salamullah. And Hur had tremendous respect for him. When it came time for Salat, and look at the humbleness of an Imam. So, Imam tells Hur, he said, are you going to lead the prayers over there, or will you come over to my camp? Why don't you come to my camp and lead the prayers? And Hur said, no, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, you are the son of Fatimatul Zahra Salamullah. How can I be the one to lead the prayers? So he asked Imam Hussein to lead the prayers. So this showed the akhlaq that even Hur had, and the respect that Hur had for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. One of the things that happened there is that Shimr saw Hur praying behind Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And of course, he did not like it. He says to him, we are here to kill Hussein, and you are praying behind him. But one of the unique things that happens is that when the time comes, because Ashur would have happened on the 9th, not on the 10th. It happened on the 10th because Imam Hussein alayhi salam asked for one night. And what did he use that night for? Two things, Salat and Quran. And this is important for us to think that here is an Imam who knows that tomorrow I will be killed. And so will be, my family will be taken as prisoners. My brothers will die. My nephews will die, but still, he was showing them and us that remember, Salat is very, very important. You cannot miss it even until the last moment of your life. Sometimes we find that somebody is so ill and he's not even able to even pray. At that time, it becomes wajib for the eldest son to do the prayers if his father is totally unconscious or is not able to pray. But remember, prayer is something that we cannot miss at any cost. Number one. Number two, Quran. My brothers and sisters in Islam, take time to read one makra of the Holy Quran every day. Because you see, if you set up that in your homes, and it doesn't matter, you can do it in Urdu language, in English language, or any other language. But make sure that you show those who are in your homes the importance of the recitation of the Holy Quran. It is for this Quran, Imam asks for a respite of one more night. As I said, Ashura would have happened on the 9th if it was not for this one-day request from Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. In history, we find that Zubair was a great supporter of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He supported Saqifa. He supported, and he was along with Salman and Miqdad. But when the Battle of Siffin happened, and Aisha, the wife of the Holy Prophet, had come to fight against Imam, he said to Imam that, no, I will not fight. Imam reminded him. He reminded him that the Prophet had told him, one day you will fight against Ali ibn Abi Talib. Who was Zubair? Zubair was the son of Abu Talib's sister. So he was Imam's cousin. And I'm relaying this to let you know that in the history, there were times when others had the opportunity to change. They were given that opportunity, but they ignored it. They did not want to change the way Hur changed. Today, the world would have remembered Zubair for being with Mawla Kainat. And here, Hur says, I will fight those who have fought with Imam. I will fight him. It is said that on the evening, on Shab-e Ashur, Hur had heard from Shimr, because Shimr had said that to him when Hur asked him, he said, what will happen tomorrow? And he said, tomorrow the heads will be cut off. The hands will be severed. And Hur started to think that here is the army. How many people do you think were there? You know, we hear 72 people. And 72 people is correct in a way. But according to our 12th Imam in Ziyarat Nahiyya, he refers to more than 72 people. Why? Because there were people who, and I will talk about that reporter, but the reporter that reported 72 people, and then he left. Therefore, the count was used as 72, but actually the numbers were probably close to 120 people or 102 people. But there were more than 72 people. And when you look at the army, Hur brought 1,000. Umar ibn Sa'ad brought 3,000. These were soldiers. It is said that by the day of Ashur, there were 30,000 soldiers. That's soldiers. That's not the civilian population. Because the civilian population that had come there was far, far more, estimated to be over 50,000 now total, trying to fight the 72 or 102 people. Imagine. And so Hur is thinking to himself, I know these people will die. And what will happen to the daughters of Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayhi? And he said, I'm on a decision now. Should I go towards hell or should I go towards heaven? We go through those decisions all the time. And Hur was an example of that, to show us that make sure that when you come to a point in life where you have to make a decision of what is truth and what is falsehood, that you go towards truth. Because the Holy Prophet said, the one who stays in the middle is also towards falsehood. So either you move completely. Don't say, nahi, nahi, abhi kya kare? I want to be neutral. Cannot be neutral. You are either this side or you're that side. And when Shimr made that statement of cutting heads and the hands, Hur started to think of himself. But in the early morning hours, Umar ibn Sa'd tells his people, he said, bring me cold water. Why? Because the hooves of the horses are burning on the sands of Karbala. Hur heard this and he thought to himself, look at this person, how determined they are to kill. On the other hand, you find just children. They're young children who are crying, al-atash, al-atash, asking for water. And here, look at him how he is trying to use water. And when that happened, at that moment, Hur decided that this was it. I need to move forward. And he said to his son, Bukhair, and he also told the servant that I'm leaving. And they said, we are also joining you, because what we are seeing is total unfairness from what these people are going to do. Therefore, Hazrat Hur says to his son, I want you to cover my eyes and tie my hands. And it is in this way that I will go forward to Abu Abdullah Hussain to seek forgiveness for what I had done. Bukhair went, the servant went along with him. And they went and they came. And as they were coming near, Abul Fazl Abbas alayhi salam was stationed there and he had his sword. So he took his sword out and he's about to go to attack. And he says to Imam Hussain, there are some people coming towards our tent. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam said, wait, Abbas, wait. Don't do it. Don't do anything. Let them come. When Hur came near him, he came off the horse and he fell on the foot of Abu Abdullah Hussain. And he said, Aka, forgive me for what I have done. I didn't know these people were trying to kill you. And I directed you and the family towards Karbala. Then he says, Imam Hussain says, Hur, the fact that you have asked for forgiveness, I forgive you. The Prophet forgives you. My mother forgives you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives you. But then Hur said that, can I talk to Janab Zainab? And Abbas takes Hur near the tent of Janab Zainab and he calls out and he says to Janab Zainab, I am so sorry for what I have done. I ask for forgiveness. And he sought forgiveness at that point. Then when the day started, he goes to Abu Abdullah al-Hussain and he says to Abu Abdullah, give me permission to go and fight these people. Of course, Hur was a very brave person and the people knew him very well. Hur goes out and starts to fight, and then suddenly somebody comes and hits him on the back of his head. Hur at that moment falls down and conveys his salam, assalamu alayka ya ibna Rasulillah. Imam Hussain runs towards Hur and he tells him one thing. He said, Hur, your mother gave you a beautiful name of Hur. which means you are free, and you are also free now in Akhirah. My brothers and sisters in Islam, on the day of Ashura, 1 hour before the time of Maghrib, Umar ibn Saad orders all the horsemen that he had prepared and said that I want you to trample the body of Hur ibn Riyai. But the tribe of Hur ibn Riyai came forward and said, you cannot do this to Hur. They took Hur away, and today he's buried 11 kilometers from Karbala. But then they decided to trample on the body of Muslim ibn Awsaja and Habib ibn Madahir, and each of the tribes came and took and said, no, you cannot do this. Then came Ahlul Bayt, they said, trample Ali Akbar's body and trample Abbas's body. But once again, Ali Akbar's mother was the cousin of Yazid. And Abbas was from the tribe, or his mother was from the tribe of Shimr, and so everybody was kept aside. The only body that was there was of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. And 10 horsemen ran towards the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. To the extent that Janab Zainab turns over to Imam Zainul Abidin and says that seems like I hear the cracking of bones. I have to say it was the mother of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, where she lost 1 rib, but look at the ribs of her son. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أيهم ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير. ماتم حسين.
मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का मातम हरम अब्बास का हो गया मरना सितम अब्बास का मातम
करबला दिया करबला दिया करबला दिया करबला दिया पुत्रा दिया लाशा दे टुकड़े لیا رب دیا وچ صحراواں کربلا دیا کربلا دیا صبر دے مالک نو سن للا کے حسن جے تے میں صبر جی سانج چ پر دے سینے جو سانگ ہٹاواں کربلا دیا کربلا دیا کے مقاسم دی مات احسان کری دیر تک لڑتا روی تیرے ٹکڑے مطابق پتنیاں میرے پیر حسین دی چھاواں کربلا دیا کربلا دیا پتراں دیا لاشاں دے ٹکڑے ریا لب دیا وچ صحراواں کربلا دیا کربلا دیا تو قیدی ہو کے ننگیاں مقتل چوں بن زینب کیتا لاشا والماواں نہ ویکھن کدے رک نہ جاول ساواں کربلا دیا کربلا دیا سمر دے خنجر دے وار زہرا روکے نال ایسے منتوے میں تکیاں پیس کے پالے سی کیویں ہتھ گردن تو چاواں کربلا دیا کربلا دیا پتراں دیا لاشاں دے ٹکڑے ریا لب دیا وچ صحراواں کربلا دیا کربلا دیا حسین حسین
ہو گیا مرنا ستم عباس کا ماتم حرم عباس کا ہو گیا مرنا ستم عباس کا ماتم حرم عباس کا ہو گیا مرنا ستم عباس کا ماتم حرم عباس کا ہو گیا مرنا ستم عباس کا کرتے ہیں ماتم حرم عباس کا ہو گیا مرنا ستم عباس کا مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین 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 یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین عابد بیمار تھا، وہ عابد بیمار تھا، وہ عابد بیمار تھا، وہ عابد بیمار تھا، چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا، چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا، اور شام کا بازار تھا، شام کا بازار تھا، اور شام کا بازار تھا، اور مصطفیٰ کی بیٹیاں مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، 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 شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی، شبیر کی وہ لاڈلی، سینے پہ جو شہ کے پلی، سینے پہ جو شہ کے پلی، وہ جس کی ابا بن میں جلی، جس کی ابا بن میں جلی، منہ پر تماچوں کے نشان، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، 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 وہ اصغر بے شیر تھا، وہ اصغر بے شیر تھا، اور حرملا کا تیر تھا، اور حرملا کا تیر تھا، وہ پیاسا گلا کیوں کر کٹا، پیاسا گلا کیوں کر کٹا، کانپی زمین اور آسمان، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، 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 وہ باوفا عباس تھا، وہ باوفا عباس تھا، دکھیوں کی وہ ایک آس تھا، دکھیوں کی وہ ایک آس تھا، وہ پانی ملا پر نہ پیا، پانی ملا پر نہ پیا، معصوم کا احساس تھا، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، یا حسین، یا حسین، یا حسین، یا حسین، یا حسین، معصومہ کی وہ سسکیاں، معصومہ کی وہ سسکیاں، دیتا تھا جو شمر جھڑکیاں، دیتا تھا جو شمر جھڑکیاں، امت کی وہ بے تابیاں، امت کی وہ بے تابیاں، روتے رہے کون و مقام، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، مولا حق امام یا حسن یا حسین، 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 یا حسین،
مدرسے واقع میں حسین کے متوجہ زیارت
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل السادات وموالي قربة الله تعالى. السلام على رسول الله، السلام على حبيب الله، السلام على